Today's log, Brookfield, Missouri, 7/16/2025, 1:22 p.m. After I've been home for a while, it takes me a minute to get back. In the seat. I get that, sleepy thing going on. I officially left out yesterday. Usually takes a day to get back in the thing. I think I put in 727 miles yesterday. This is US 36 westbound, going from Hannibal to St. Joseph, Missouri. I prefer this over 70 any day, anytime. Just take it easy. Less traffic. The road's a little rough. They're doing a lot of work on it. Clocked in at 63 miles per hour. Might get a nosebleed. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Show my old mug. Hope that's not cancer. No way I can keep my nose out of the sun, but I ended up with this sore. So if it goes away, you know it's not cancer. If it stays there, probably get my nose cut off. Today's drink is Italian roast, 8 o'clock coffee with a hint of chocolate. Bean, freshly ground, freshly brewed. My hat was given to me from a subscriber in the get-go. Big Belly Rebuild. Hope he's doing well. Hope you're doing well, Mike. Enjoying your retirement. The big, beautiful American flag out in the wind today. I was doing well, and just started raining like crazy. Made me a little drowsy, so I pulled over for an hour and 15 minute nap. And I was going to try to answer some of y'all's questions, but I don't think I can read that small and drive at the same time. Better not. I do see a whole bunch of happy birthdays though. Outlaw for Life, thank you. Wyatt Hunter, thank you. Can't take that one out. But all of you, thanks for your birthday wishes. Trying to remember some of those questions. Ruthie says, answer these questions. I don't know how to answer them. So the headache drag ended up being a bigger ordeal than I had imagined, but I don't know, that's just the way it is for me. Everything seems to be a bigger deal than I have imagined, particularly when it comes to this truck. So, if y'all remember, on the last load that I took out, went to Vegas. Well, I didn't make it out there on Friday, and so I ended up having to wait over the weekend and deliver on Tuesday. So it set me back a little bit, you know. So basically, what I'm saying is that cut into the 3-week period that Malibu was going to be shut down. So that's why I only ended up being at the house for 2 weeks. Cool with me. Worked out good. I got to see AJ for my birthday. He's shown a lot of remorse during the time that he's been there. You know, I hate it for him. I don't want him to have to go through that. But I do know that becoming a better person in life, you have to have remorse. If you don't have remorse, how can you become a better person, right? So, anywho, so time flies, and September should be here in no time, and hopefully we get them back. September. If not September, then I guess it'll be December. So hopefully it's in September. Still don't have his bunk. You can see the cabinets in back there. But part of the progression was getting the bunk in was getting the headache rack up. So a lot of you ask questions, why didn't I do this and do that under that bunk? Well, Ken, the guy that I bought this truck from, so this truck had done a lot of sitting over its lifetime. And when he got it, it was mouse and infested. So they gutted the interior. And that's the interior. That's why you see the interior that you see now. It's not typical Freightliner interior. It's blue and gray. And so they took out all the interior and the flooring and all that stuff, put in all new flooring and interior, and put those cabinets in, took out the upper bunk and put the cabinets in. Apparently, Ken said that the lower bunk wasn't any good, and you know, that's made of aluminum. It has the 2 shocks, so you lift it and it lifts up basically on its own. So he took that out as well, and put in a 3/4 inch plywood and put in that lower bunk. That thing is freaking heavy, man. So whatever I can keep from doing to keep from opening that thing up, I'll do it. Or I got to find some kind of way to something keep me from having to lift it up, because I've hurt my back 3 times already lifting that bunk up. So don't want to be putting anything. Well, I keep my water and stuff under the bunk, and that APU unit Ken had it put in, you know, after they did the interior and everything. So that's fairly new. And so, you know, there's a big air conditioning unit under there. And so the answer to your question is, I do use underneath the bunk to store a lot of stuff, but I don't want my tools under there. I don't think that's a very wise place to keep your tools. Say you're covered in grease and you're working outside and you're climbing in and out and going underneath the bunk to get tools. I don't believe that's a very wise place to keep it. So that's what the headache rack is all about, keeping stuff out there. And I got to take down that bunk, that cabinet you see in the background, and put AJ's bunk in yet. That shouldn't be too hard. Of course, I always say that, and it ends up being a way bigger deal than I thought it would be. I don't know why that is. Just the way it is. I don't know if y'all know that sticker that's on the hood on the surface is a plastic laminated part that protects the sticker and keeps it shiny. Well, that thing, for some reason, since it's been summertime, has been doing the shrivelly thing, and I'm sure y'all can't see it, but it's been shriveling up and it's pulled in all the way around about an inch, so it's not. Anyway, it's all right. It ain't hurting me any. I won't worry about it. It's not shiny anymore. It's not real smooth. Let's put it that way, because it's crinkled up. It's smooth at the top, but not everywhere else. I don't know how the microphone's working. I was gonna say the cat's out of the bag. Y'all know I left the house and I'm back on the road. Justin Berger got a heads up. He knew I was leaving out the night before. So I got to call them, let them know I'm going to be there Friday morning. One of the other drivers is going to be there on Thursday. He's got a run going to Reno. From what I hear, Tim is making a run too. I don't know where his run's going. Out west, I guess. And Orland is out. So I guess we're all out. Linus was out somewhere. He wasn't there when I was there. Corey had to put on his headache rack, and so the one that came off this trip. So that's basically all I know is going on at the shop. What's going on? I didn't see any of the trailers. I wasn't looking around. I came in from my house. My house is 270 miles from the yard. So once I got there, I just briskly got what I needed, filled up, and hooked up and got on the road. Because like I said, anytime I've been taking any time off, I'm just like everybody else. I get real drowsy in that first day when I'm getting back out on the road. So I know that, but I still got totals altogether from the time that I left the house and hooked up the boat with 726 miles, so that's not too bad for my first day. That was only 570 miles, I think, to the good on the run. Something like that. Anyway, I can't remember. But anyway, I got 500 miles. Let's put it that way. I got 500 miles on the run from the yard to Salt Lake. So it's an 1,800 mile run. So that's what I got the first day, plus my 270 from the house. So not bad for a first day out, you know. So you can see there's a lot of concrete work here. Well, back about 20 miles, 30 miles, they're actually, once they get that done, they're coming and putting fresh, about a half a foot, maybe a tad bit more, 6 inches to 7 inches of asphalt down. So yeah, they're making the repairs and then coming in and rolling asphalt down, like what we're seeing here. So this was concrete highway, and then once they make the repairs, they put the asphalt on top of it. So I guess good concrete foundation. They need to do that when you cross out of Tennessee into Kentucky. That slow lane, that's so bad. I just crank her down to about 50 miles an hour, and that's a little fast. Hey, it's real rough. Slow lane from there to Princeton. A lot of roads have been let go in our country for the longest time. I've always said you can tell how crooked the country is by looking at the roads, because they take the money from us to repair them, so why aren't they repaired? Yeah, you missed me there, flatbed. Used to, ladies and gentlemen, most of the foreign-born drivers that are out here would be driving vans. But in the past year and a half, they've ventured off into step decks and flatbeds. But according to AI, so I had a good spent some time on AI and asked about DOT enforcing the law that's been on the books. Speak English law. So across all of the United States, as of last week, 40 trucks have been shut down and put out of business. Shut down, put out of service is what I meant. 40 trucks have been shut down and put out of service. So that means there's 40 cases across the United States that have that failed the English thing. So 40. So, you know, that don't make any sense. And so I got to asking some more questions, and comes out, this is my picture of it. So my theory, and from what I've learned from AI. So here we go. I'm going to give you my best shot. So in the United States, they have the H2B, I think that's what it's called, program. And where in the United States we have a lack of workforce to do certain jobs, the government can reach out and bring in foreigners on green card basis, and they could stay here during their green card period and work these jobs that we need them for. Well, the big trucking outfits and the big trucking outfits and the lobbyists and the AAA and them people that work all up there in Washington for big trucking outfits started crying, "There's a trucker shortage, trucker shortage, trucker shortage." Well, you know what that's about. You know, put two and two together. It was that H2 program, H2B program. So the reason why they cried about there being a trucker shortage is because they wanted the government to get them in on the H2B program. Well, as of last week when I asked these questions, AI says that there's over 750,000 foreign-born green card holders that are CDL holders that are currently employed driving trucks across America currently. And then I asked, well, aren't there green cards to be expired? And AI says that all they have to do is file for permanent residence, and the government will renew their status on their green cards, and that could go on forever and ever. So these foreign-borns that AI calls them foreign-borns that are here on green card status, you would think that they would do their job on green card, and which is what, 2 years, and then they'd go home. But all they have to do is file for permanent residency, and they don't ever have to go home because they just renew their green card, and they don't ever have to become citizens. All they have to do is file for permanent residency. And so again, currently right now in the United States, there are over 750,000 foreign-born green card holders holding CDLs, driving semi-trucks across America. So, why do I bring that up? Only 40 people have lost their CDLs due to the speaking English deal. That's not going to change anything. And not to mention, nobody's going to enforce it. I mean, come on now. June 25th, what is this? Almost July 25th, a month and 40 people. Nobody's enforcing it. It's just like I watched a video one day where a guy pulled this guy over going through his town a little fast. Didn't have a CDL. It was a Mexican CDL or something like that. Didn't have insurance, didn't have paperwork on the load, and the guy called up around the state police. I think this was in Arkansas. Called up the state police, called up his boss, called around and decided he didn't want to have to deal with a tow truck, that he'd want to be on his happy little way and didn't want to do any paperwork, and he didn't want to deal with it. So he let the guy go. So nobody's enforcing this. We have these laws, but nobody enforces them. And, Obama got it turned around where you can get the HB2 program and get these people over here. And supposedly they're here legit. But we don't know that. All we know is they're green card holders and that they hold CDLs and that they filed for permanent residency and they don't ever have to go home. All they have to do is get their green card renewed when it expires. All they have to do to stay here is file for permanent residency. I ain't got anything against them. I can't blame anybody for wanting to do better. Who could blame anybody for wanting to do better? I certainly support people for wanting to do better than for people who want to do worse. You know. So, but that's the gig. You know, and you wonder why trucking doesn't rebound. Well, when you have people that can undercut Americans, and not to mention that, you know, the government's giving subsidies too, you know, medical and food stamps and everything else that they need. You know, they won't do that for us, but they'll do that for them. So they're going to make sure that they have success and that they succeed. So the first time that Trump was in office, if some of you can remember, that AAA, I think that's who it is, you know, they support the big companies. They had, you know, big company trucks on the White House lawn. You know, it's a big thing how Trump was working with truckers. Yeah, he's working with big lobbyists. That's who he was working with. This time around, I don't think he's working with the big lobbyists. I hope he ain't. And I can understand him working with them, but they're not about us. They're not about the American people. They're not about the true grit of America. And that's people that don't want to be working for somebody else. You know, those of us who want to be able to do our own thing and support our own families and not do the 9 to 5 and be told what to do. And you know, when I was growing up, trucking was you know, it was an awesome gig. You know, you put, you know, your kids through school and college, and you know, you can drive out here and retire and have your home and everything paid for and all that stuff. But it's not like that anymore. It's a struggle. Now this gig that I got going on with Tim is the best gig that I've had so far. Is the best gig I've had probably in the last decade. I mean, I'm financially doing better doing this gig than I have been doing anything else in the last 10 years. So. I would like to get another truck. So much. I think I just. Yeah, I would like to get another truck. I would. It looked like the camera was going in and out. I would like to get another truck. What I really want to get I've had my fair share of Peterbilts. I've had 3 of them. I had my very first truck that I owned was a 96 Peterbilt, 379 extended hood. 3406E. It's 500 plus horsepower with a 15 speed. I put 309 rears in it. That was my first one. My second one was a 2007 Peterbilt 379 with a 550 A-cert motor with an 18 speed with 355 rears. Or 336 rears. And then my third one was an 05 Peterbilt 550 Cat A-cert with 18 speed with 336 rears. And my fourth one was Freightliner Classic with 3406E, 13 speed with 342s or 343 rears, and this one's got the same setup, except this is the 8-cert motor and not a 34. And it's not an A-cert motor. the first one. It's 6NZ, the one that everybody goes after. And so what this motor is, from what I understand, is it's the updated 6NZ motor. So the motor 6NZ was a very successful motor, but it had leaks, oil leaks, and they improved all of that when they built the 6NZ. So the C15 6NZ. So I guess that makes what, 5 trucks, somewhere around there. Just turned 63. So maybe be able to get a year or two out of this truck. Meanwhile, I want to be looking for my next truck. And that's what I was going to say before I got lost on all my trucks. So my next truck I'm looking for, basically because I'm going to have AJ with me. It's this truck, except it's an 80-inch bunk. They made this truck with an 80-inch bunk, and you can, how you tell is on the window, on the outside of the sleeper, there's a notch. It's like a C-shaped notch in front of the window. When you see that, you know that it has the 80-inch bunk. Well, it has the studio sleeper, and that's not so much what I'm after. It's more of the space. You got more room back there to move around. So, having 2 people, and that's the one I want. That's one I'm really looking for. The yellow one that I tried to get from the guys that I was working for last summer, well, they sold it and ended up selling it for 18. Well, I would have gave them 18. And I would have. I mean, I gave 15 for this. So I would have given them 18 with no problems. I wouldn't have gave it to them. I mean, I sold my skid steer for 40 grand. I would have bought it. I tried to get them to sell it to me. They didn't sell it to me. They sold it after I got this and spent another 30 grand. So I got dissed on that. Anyway, it is what it is. What it is, what it is. Can't cry over spilt milk. Right? So anyway, but it had that sleeper. The problem is that thing had been smoked in, and I'm really super duper allergic to cigarettes and anywhere that there's nicotine. So I mean, it messes me up. The glands under my armpits will swell up. The glands under in my throat will swell up. Start messing with my equilibrium. Oh yeah, it causes me all kinds of issues. And then after I deal with that, and then I start getting infections in my sinuses. So it's just a real bad deal. So I couldn't drive it with that nicotine. I would have had to gut it. And ask me how I know, because I had to do that with the light feet, my old 5-feet. And I had to do it with company trucks that I drove too. So I gotta gut it. I have to gut the interior, and then that's not the only thing you gotta do. You gotta get into the air conditioning system. And on these trucks, with the APU, you have 3 air conditioning systems. 3 air conditioning systems with 3 heating systems. You have the one up in the cab, the one in the sleeper, and then if you have the APU, the 3rd one. So all 3 of those have to be taken apart and cleaned. The vents, the hoses that are in the vents, the heater core, the air conditioner, all that has to be cleaned. And then even after it's clean, it still stinks for a while. And then when it finally starts dissipating, if you ever leave the windows rolled up and it's a hot day and you go back and go get in it, and there it is again, you can smell it. So it actually stays in the interior forever. I don't think it ever comes out, but you can get it to where it's habitable. But that's the way the yellow truck was. That was the biggest downfall. It needed tires. It had a Detroit, I think they said it was 13 speed. Had an APU on it. It was an older one. That don't bother me as long as it leaking oil out of the crank seals or anything. And if it is, you can just get another APU put on there. But yeah, I believe in APUs. I don't believe in sitting and running a big motor, trying to stay cool or warm. That's very expensive. Not to mention the wear and tear. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been keeping you for a while now. I think I just went by Chillicothe. Yeah, I just went by Chillicothe, coming up to Cameron, which is where 35 crosses over 36. So we're 20 miles from there from 35. So one day I was coming across here. About every 5 minutes or so, I'd see an ambulance. Didn't have his lights on. Wow, what's up with that? What's up with that? And I'd holler on the radio, say, hey, I'd go, hey, listen, this is what I'd say. Hey, eastbound, what's going on with all those ambulances? And nobody would answer me. You know, nobody ever answers you on the CB radio anymore. And so I got to looking it up, and a Amtrak train had crashed or hit a farmer's truck or something. And anyway, so yeah, that's what that gig was. That was a trip. And so anyway, that just brings back. I prefer 36 over 70. It doesn't have all that up and downs. Plus, you don't have to go through all the traffic that 70 has, and it's much more pleasant up here. It's just me. When I'm running down, I like to run down on 61, I think it is. 60, 61 or 62. I can't remember. Down, it's on the bottom of Missouri, and it's a lot like this. It's a 4-lane. I used to run it when it was 2-lane, but it's all 4-lane now. It's also a beautiful, peaceful drive. You know, it's built like an interstate, but it isn't an interstate, so you don't have as much traffic as you would on an interstate. And so anyway, you know, after 30-something plus years driving, I'm just kicking back. I'm not out to hammer down and grit my teeth and try to get as many thousands of miles that I could possibly get. I'm just I'm just doing my job. All that hammer down, gritting my teeth, being frustrated, tense, and all that. I'm not about that anymore. So I'm just I'm looking for the best trip that I can get and still get the job done. So make an appointment, which is what I'm fixing to do here for Friday morning. And you guys have a wonderful day. I'm sorry I was just gabbing along, and of course that's what I always do, is just gab along. So anyway, I wish I could read y'all's comments, but my eyes don't adjust down to that small and then come back on the road like that anymore. Those days are, I think I was in my 50s when my eyes would slow down from, you know, adjustments, you know, from small to big, near to far, you know, and just like if you turn the lights out, it takes me a while for my eyes to adjust. That was in my 50s when my eyes started changing. So I still had 20/20 vision. 63 with 20/20 vision. I do have some damage over here. I'm putting down here, looking down here, I got some vision damage from glaucoma. But other than that, I still have 20/20 in both eyes, and so I'm blessed. Thank you, my Father, for that. And ladies and gentlemen, you have a wonderful day. And I was told by Ruthie, she's doing taxes, and so Ruth says, "Oh, you're gonna have to make videos. I can't do anything." So anyway, I was instructed to make a video. Hopefully, I didn't bother you a whole lot, and you don't feel like I ruined your day by watching my videos. So have a wonderful day. Have lots of fun. Enjoy your day.